I came home early to surprise my wife on our anniversary and found her in our bed with my best friend since college, and in that single moment, my entire world shattered into a million pieces. But little did she know that walking away from her would be the best decision I ever made. My name is Michael, and I'm 35 years old, living in Chicago, working as a software engineer for a tech company, and this is the story of how my wife's betrayal destroyed me but also saved my life. Let me take you back to where it all began. 8 years ago when I met Jessica at a mutual friend's wedding in Boston. She was 25 back then with long blonde hair, green eyes, and this infectious laugh that could light up any room. We connected instantly over our shared love of hiking, terrible horror movies, and deep conversations about life. Our first date was at this small Italian restaurant in the North End, and we talked 4 or 5 hours straight until the owner politely told us they were closing. I knew that night she was special. I knew I wanted to spend my life with her. 6 months later, I proposed to her on top of Mount Washington during a sunrise hike. She said yes with tears streaming down her face, and I felt like the luckiest man alive. We got married a year later in a beautiful ceremony in Vermont, surrounded by family and friends. My best friend, Jake, stood beside me as my best man. He had been my roommate in college, my workout buddy, my confidant, the guy I trusted with everything. Jake and Jessica got along great. Maybe too great, but I never suspected anything. I trusted them both completely. The first 3 years of our marriage were incredible. We bought a house in the suburbs, adopted a golden retriever named Cooper, traveled to Ireland, Scotland, and Iceland together. We talked about starting a family. Soon I was working hard, climbing the corporate ladder, and Jessica worked as a marketing manager at a design firm. Life was good. Life was perfect. Then things started changing. Subtly at first, Jessica began working late more often. She was always on her phone texting and would get defensive when I asked who she was talking to. She started going to the gym at odd hours, became more distant in bed, and our conversations became surface level. I tried talking to her about it, but she would brush it off, saying she was stressed about work. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to trust her, so I pushed my doubts aside and focused on being a supportive husband. I planned date nights, bought her flowers, surprised her with weekend getaways, but she seemed distracted, like her mind was somewhere else, someone else. Our 7th anniversary was approaching, and I wanted to do something special. I had been planning this surprise for weeks. I took the afternoon off work, bought her favorite roses, chocolate cup, strawberries, and champagne. My plan was to come home early, set everything up, and cook her favorite meal, linguine with clam sauce. I pulled into our driveway around 2 in the afternoon and noticed Jake's truck parked down the street, which was weird because he lived across town. I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe he was visiting a neighbor. I grabbed the flowers and champagne from the passenger seat and headed to the front door. The door was unlocked, which was unusual. Jessica was always paranoid about locking it. I walked in quietly, not wanting to ruin the surprise. Our golden retriever, Cooper, greeted me at the door, wagging his tail. I petted him, and then I heard its sounds coming from upstairs, from our bedroom, moaning laughter, voices I recognized. My heart started pounding. My hands went numb. I wanted to turn around, walk out, pretend I never heard anything, but my feet carried me up those stairs, one step at a time, each step feeling like I was walking toward my own execution. I stood outside our bedroom door, the door we picked together when we renovated the house, the door with the brushed nickel handle. I could hear them clearly now. Jessica's voice, breathless, saying things she used to say to me. Jake's voice, deep and familiar, responding. I don't remember opening the door, but suddenly I was standing in the doorway staring at my wife in our bed, our anniversary bed with my best friend since college. The flowers and champagne fell from my hands, crashing on the hardwood floor. They both froze. Jessica's eyes went wide with terror. Jake scrambled to grab the sheets. I just stood there, unable to move, unable to speak, unable to process what I was seeing. Jessica started crying immediately. Started saying my name over and over. Michael, Michael. I'm so sorry, Michael, please. She wrapped herself in our bedsheet. The same sheets we had picked out together at that home goods store last summer. Jake couldn't even look at me. He just kept saying, bro. I'm sorry, bro. This wasn't supposed to happen, bro. Please. The word bro from his mouth made me want to throw up. I finally found my voice and it didn't sound like mine. It sounded hollow, distant. I asked the only question I could form: how long? Jessica was sobbing uncontrollably, mascara running down her face. 6 months. She whispered, 6 months. 6 months, while I was planning our anniversary, while I was working overtime to save for the house renovation we talked about, while I was being the faithful, loving husband. 6 months of lies, 6 months of betrayal, 6 months of them laughing behind my back. I asked her why and she said she didn't know. She said it just happened. She said she still loved me. She said it was a mistake. Jake tried to apologize, tried to explain, but I held up my hand. I couldn't hear another word from either of them. I turned around, walked down the stairs, grabbed Cooper's leash and my car keys and left. I drove to a hotel near downtown and checked in for the night. I sat on the edge of that hotel bed, staring at the wall for hours, trying to understand how my life had fallen apart so completely. Jessica called me 37 times that night. I counted every single one I didn't answer. Jake texted me dozens of messages, begging to talk, begging for forgiveness. I blocked his number. I couldn't stand seeing his name on my screen. The next morning I called my brother David, who lived in Seattle. I told him everything. And he was on a flight to Chicago that same day. Having him there kept me from completely falling apart. He helped me think clearly, helped me figure out my next steps. Step 1 was calling a divorce lawyer. I met with 3 different attorneys before choosing Sarah Mitchell, a no-nonsense woman in her 50s who specialized in infidelity cases. She told me Illinois was a no-fault divorce state, but that documentation of the affair would help with asset division. Step 2 was going back to the house with David to get my things. Jessica was there, looking like she hadn't slept. Her eyes were red and swollen. She tried to talk to me, tried to explain, tried to beg for another chance, but I was done. I packed my clothes, my laptop, my personal items, and Cooper. I wasn't leaving my dog with her. She kept saying, we can work through this, we can go to counseling. I love you, Michael, please don't give up on us. But how do you work through 6 months of lying, 6 months of betrayal, 6 months of her sleeping with my best friend in our bed? I told her my lawyer would be in touch, and I left. I moved into a furnished apartment downtown temporary until I figured out my next move. David stayed with me for 2 weeks, helping me transition, helping me cope, helping me remember I was going to survive this. The divorce process was brutal. Jessica tried to fight it at first, wanted to delay, wanted couples therapy, wanted another chance. But I was firm. I wanted it done quickly, cleanly. I didn't want to drag this out. I didn't want to keep reliving the betrayal. We had to divide everything: the house, the cars, the savings, the retirement accounts, the furniture, the stupid kitchen appliances. Every single item was a reminder of the life we built together, the life that was based on lies. Jake tried reaching out through mutual friends, tried to apologize in person, but I refused to see him. I cut him out completely, blocked him on everything, deleted every photo, every memory, every trace of our friendship. Some of our mutual friends took sides, most supported me, but a few said I should hear him out. I cut those people out too. I didn't need that kind of energy in my life. The worst part wasn't the legal stuff or dividing assets, it was the nights alone in my apartment, questioning everything, questioning my judgment, questioning if I had missed signs, questioning if I was enough, questioning my worth as a man, as a husband. I started therapy. Dr. Chen, a psychiatrist who specialized in trauma and betrayal, helped me understand that none of this was my fault, that Jessica's choices were hers alone, that I couldn't have prevented this no matter what I did. Therapy was hard, really hard. I had to confront feelings I had been suppressing: anger, resentment, grief, loss. I had lost my wife, my best friend, my sense of security, my ability to trust, all in one afternoon. But slowly, very slowly, I started healing. I started rebuilding. I threw myself into work, got a promotion, started leading a major project at my company. I started working out seriously, hired a personal trainer, went to the gym 6 days a week, channeled all my pain and anger into physical transformation. I lost 30 pounds, gained muscle, felt stronger physically and mentally. I started eating better, sleeping better, taking care of myself in ways I hadn't in years. I picked up old hobbies I had abandoned: photography, hiking, reading. I reconnected with friends I had neglected. I started living for myself, not for someone else. 6 months after I moved out, the divorce was finalized. Jessica got the house. I got the majority of our savings and investments. Cooper stayed with me. I signed those papers and felt this weird mix of sadness and relief. Sadness for what I thought we had, relief that I could finally close this chapter. Jessica tried texting me a few times after the divorce was final, asking how I was doing, saying she missed me, saying she made the biggest mistake of her life. I never responded. There was nothing left to say. I heard through mutual friends that her relationship with Jake fell apart almost immediately. Apparently, once the excitement of sneaking around was gone, they realized they had nothing real. They were just two selfish people who destroyed everything around them for temporary pleasure. Jake apparently tried reaching out to other friends from our college group, but most of them wanted nothing to do with him. He lost his entire friend circle, his reputation, his sense of self. I felt nothing hearing this, no satisfaction, no sympathy, nothing. He was dead to me. Meanwhile, I was thriving. At work, I got another promotion, became the director of engineering for my division, bought a new condo downtown with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of Lake Michigan, started dating again. Nothing serious, just putting myself out there, remembering what it felt like to connect with someone new. I went on dates with different women, some great, some not so great, but I wasn't looking for anything serious. I was focused on myself, on my growth, on becoming the best version of myself. Then 1 year and 3 months after my divorce was finalized, I met Rachel at a friend's barbecue in Lincoln Park. She was 32, a pediatric nurse with curly brown hair, warm brown eyes, and this genuine kindness that radiated from her. We started talking about our dogs. She had a rescue pit bull named Bruno, and the conversation flowed naturally. No pressure, no games, just two people connecting. We exchanged numbers and started texting. Our first date was at a coffee shop in Wicker Park. We talked for 3 hours about everything: our families, our careers, our past relationships. I was honest with her about my divorce, about the betrayal, about my journey of healing. She listened without judgment, without trying to fix me, just listened. Rachel and I took things slow, really slow. I wasn't ready to rush into anything, and she respected that. We dated for 6 months before making things official, another 3 months before I met her family, another 2 months before she met mine. She never pushed, never demanded never made me feel like I wasn't enough. She just showed up. Consistently, honestly, authentically herself, and slowly I felt myself opening up again, learning to trust again, learning to love again. It's been 2 years now since I met Rachel, and I can honestly say I'm happier than I ever was with Jessica. My relationship with Rachel is built on honesty, communication, respect, trust, all the things I thought I had with Jessica, but never really did. Last month, Rachel and I got engaged. I proposed to her on a hiking trip in Colorado at sunrise overlooking the Rocky Mountains. She said yes, and this time, I knew without a single doubt that I was marrying the right person. So what happened to Jessica? Well, that's where this story gets interesting. 3 weeks ago, I got a text from an unknown number. It said, "Hey, Michael, it's Jessica. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I really need to talk to you, please. It's important." I stared at that text for a long time. Part of me wanted to delete it, block the number, pretend I never saw it, but curiosity got the better of me. I showed Rachel the text and she said, "It's up to you, babe. Whatever you decide, I support you." I decided to respond. I texted back, "What do you want, Jessica?" She replied immediately, "Can we meet for coffee? I need to talk to you face to face. Please, just 1 hour. That's all I'm asking." Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a neutral coffee shop in a neighborhood neither of us frequented. I got there early, ordered a black coffee, and waited. Jessica walked in 15 minutes late. She looked different, older, tired, worn down. Her hair was shorter. She had lost weight, not in a healthy way. She looked like she had been through something. She sat down across from me, ordered a latte, and we sat in awkward silence for a moment before she finally spoke. "Michael, thank you for meeting me. I know I don't deserve your time after everything I did to you." I didn't say anything, just waited for her to continue. She took a deep breath. "I've been thinking about you a lot, about us. About what I threw away. I was so stupid, Michael, so unbelievably stupid. I ruined the best thing that ever happened to me." I stayed silent, my face neutral. I wasn't going to make this easy for her. "I'm alone now," she continued. "Jake and I lasted maybe 3 months after you left. Once the thrill was gone, we realized we had nothing." He blamed me. I blamed him. It was toxic and messy. "I've been single since then, can't seem to meet anyone who measures up to you." I raised an eyebrow. "Measures up to me? You cheated on me, Jessica, for 6 months, with my best friend. You destroyed our marriage, our life together. And now you're saying no one measures up." She started crying. I know I was horrible. I was selfish. I was so incredibly wrong. I've been in therapy trying to understand why I did it, trying to forgive myself, but I can't move on. Michael, I can't stop thinking about what we had. "Where is this going, Jessica?" I asked, my voice cold. She looked up at me with desperate eyes. "I want you back, Michael. I want us to try again. I know I don't deserve it. I know I hurt you beyond words, but I've changed. I'm different now. I understand what I lost. I understand what you meant to me." I sat back in my chair and let out a long breath. "You want me back?" "Yes," she said eagerly. "I know it's asking a lot. I know you probably hate me, but we had something special. Michael, we had 8 years together. We built a life together. Doesn't that count for something? Can't we try to rebuild?" I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, no love, no hate, nothing. She was a stranger to me now. "Jessica," I said calmly, "I've moved on. I'm engaged." Her face went pale. "Engaged?" she whispered. "Yes, engaged to an incredible woman who treats me with respect, who values me, who would never betray me the way you did." Tears were streaming down her face now. "Michael, please, she's not me. She doesn't know you like I do. She wasn't there for all those years." "You're right," I said. "She wasn't there for the lies, the cheating, the betrayal. She only knows the man I became after you, the stronger, healthier, happier version of myself, and I'm grateful for that." Jessica, you taught me what I don't want in a partner, what I won't tolerate, what I deserve. You breaking me was the catalyst I needed to become who I am today, so in a weird way I should thank you. She looked devastated. So that's it, you won't even consider it? There's nothing to consider. I said firmly, what we had is dead. You killed it the moment you chose to betray me. I grieved that loss, I healed from it, I moved on. And I'm happy, genuinely happy for the first time in years. But Michael, she started. No, I interrupted. I came here today to give you closure, to tell you face to face that I forgive you, not for your sake but for mine. I forgive you so I can fully let go of any remaining resentment, any remaining connection to that part of my life. I stood up. Goodbye, Jessica. I wish you well. I hope you find happiness and learn from your mistakes, but that happiness won't be with me. I walked out of that coffee shop feeling lighter than I had in years. I got in my car, called Rachel, and told her I loved her, told her I couldn't wait to marry her, told her she was my future.